What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video on Deadpool and Wolverine, aka Deadpool 3. So we are just over 1 month to go to the world premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine, and the closer and closer we get to this phenomenal movie, or what should be a phenomenal movie, the more and more official, real, behind-the-scenes information we're going to get, which is going to make it clearer how awesome this freaking movie is going to be. So, in today's video, we're going to cover some Deadpool and Wolverine new information. So if you're new around here, what the make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture based content that I try to cover personally on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know who do you freaking want to turn up in the movie, how do you want it to end, what is this crazy insane post-credit scene. Also, if you could become a channel member for less than 99p, less than $1, it really helps keep the lights up at the Warstu channel. Also, if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. And also, if you could, follow us on Twitter, WarstuG. Right, let's get into this video. So, for the longest time ever, there's been this agenda that Deadpool 3 has a lot of DEIs, okay? Apparently, there's been this agenda pushed by Bob Iger onto Kevin Feige, onto Sean Levy, onto Ryan Reynolds, to push some massive diversity, equality, an inclusion sort of agenda. Well, recently an article came out that has basically debunked this whole nonsense that I've seen going around for literally the last 6 months to a year. Apparently, there's some crazy World War I, World War II, Vietnam, crazy Hugh Jackman Wolverine scenes being cut. I've literally got so much information of the plot right in front of me that I can't talk about, that I can't put online, because that would be a massive plot leak that I don't want to be responsible for putting out there. And I've spoke to a lot of people. There was never any Wolverine World War I, World War II, Vietnam scene, so I've got no idea what the these people are going on about. But it has been made public knowledge recently what was off the table from day one, from the head of Marvel Studios being Kevin Feige. And it's interesting because I keep getting sent the same videos from the same kind of people saying, oh, there's huge arguments going on behind the scenes with Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Marvel Studios, and they're going to walk away and they're not going to have anything to do with the Avengers 5. They're not going to do Deadpool 4 and all this kind of nonsense, which, I mean, sure, Deadpool and Wolverine probably will appear in other movies, but I don't understand why people believe this information or where it's even coming from. It's not even coming from reliable sources or even close to, you know, the kind of untrusted sources that you see on the internet. So God knows why people believe this. But realistically, what is off the table? It's something so minor. And also, you got to understand, Marvel is generally like a PG-13 company when it comes to movies. Like, there isn't any Marvel movies except for this one that is R-rated. So what is off the tables is exactly what you thought would be. But it's off the table in the way that they're still really going to address it. So Deadpool and Wolverine director says there were early conversations about what couldn't be in the movie, so they wrote a joke about it. So although it's off the table, and what is off the tables, we've already seen it in Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 anyway, and they're still going to address it in a roundabout way. So when you find out what's off the table, it's not this a massive agenda, diversity, inclusion push that some people seem to think they're going to have in this movie, which seems to be complete nonsense. In fact, for Disney, it's actually going to be a really good year for them, because not only do they have Deadpool and Wolverine next month, Inside Out 2 came out early this month on the 14th. It's on $500 million. It's actually one of the highest grossing movies this year so far. It's number 4 on the list. It's easily going to get close to $1 billion. Dune Part 2 is $711 million. That's the top movie of the year. I mean, by the end of next weekend, Inside Out 2 will be the number 2 movie of the year. And you got Moana 2 later this year. So Disney's probably going to have a really good year this year. So what was off the tables? It's the most soft thing ever. I'm so wary of what I can say, but certainly there were earlier conversations about drug use. So they can't use drugs, basically. That is what's off the tables. The solution then became clear. We thought that was an interesting conversation, Levy says. Let's actually write a dialogue scene about having had it. Okay, cool. So most likely you've noticed in most Marvel movies, you've never actually seen full-on swearing, and you will see full-on swearing in this movie. You've never seen full-on sex scenes, and I don't think that that's going to be the case in this movie. And you've never seen drug-related scenes because Disney is a PG-13 company, realistically, even though this is R-rated. And I still think this is a hard R, even if they can't use drugs. Drugs is not indicative to Deadpool, realistically. And we've seen the use of drugs, realistically, in other Deadpool movies already. Deadpool, ever the cheeky fourth wall breaker, mentioned as the only thing Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige says is off the tables. It's a moment they even cropped up in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer as Ryan Reynolds Merc with a mouth, blind owl, for offering up some merchant power, if you like. I guess that's the only way I'm going to be able to say it. But yeah, they even joke about it in the first trailer. I think it was the first trailer or second trailer. So yeah, they may not see it being used, but yeah, there's like literally a dialogue about it. So for those wondering if Deadpool would hold anything back for its third installment, although Sean Levy says this isn't technically a third movie, it's just a Wolverine and Deadpool movie. And although there's talks about potentially having a fourth Deadpool movie already, which would technically be the real sequel to Deadpool 2. But realistically, that's nonsense. It would be Deadpool 4. It's just, I get what they're saying. This isn't a direct sequel, although it kind of is a direct sequel because Deadpool is no longer with Vanessa. So all the information going around really does contradict itself. So according to this nonsense about there being this forced agenda from Bob Iger about diversity, equality, and inclusion, I've literally read most of the plot that I believe is going to be close to the real thing, and it's absolute nonsense. It's just agenda-driven nonsense, if you like. So also in the news, so Deadpool and Wolverine takes place 6 years after Deadpool 2. Okay, but it's not a sequel. How can it take place 6 years after Deadpool 2 if it's not a sequel? Make it make sense. He's proven to be useless at selling cars, blind owl, blood pressure meds to make rent. And his beloved Vanessa has a new boyfriend. And yeah, it's been trolled to high heavens. So let me get it straight. It's not a sequel, but Vanessa's got a new boyfriend, allegedly. And then some of the scoopers saying out, it's not actually boyfriend, they're just seeing each other. That is the 21st century dating game. Thank you for listening to the Warstu Riz game. Yes, that was a joke. So it's not a sequel to Deadpool 2, but it just happens to be set 6 years after Deadpool 2. I really wish that directors and people things to do with movies actually think before they speak. You can't say it's not a sequel to Deadpool 2 and then release official information via a trade being Total Film saying, yeah, it's set 6 years after Deadpool 2, but it's not actually a sequel. So it can't be set after Deadpool 2 if it's got nothing to do with Deadpool 2. Make it make sense. So Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are going to go on a massive press tour that's starting pretty soon. They're going to appear on the Jimmy Kimmel show this summer as a massive part of the Deadpool and Wolverine promotional tour. And it was interesting because we did hear a lot of information about the marketing budget being tiny for Deadpool and Wolverine, but they're literally going to every single country in the world, including Japan. They've already started to post where they're going to be. They are literally going everywhere. This may potentially be one of the most expensive okay, it's probably not going to be on Endgame level, but it's going to be up there with one of the most expensive marketing campaigns Disney's ever done. Why? Because it's their only movie this year. They've already confirmed the movie's releasing in China, and they've also confirmed that Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, and Ryan will be in Shanghai to promote the movie. So they're going all out because it's Disney's only Marvel movie this year. Sure, they've got Inside Out 2, Moana. Disney's got a lot of movies this year. So it could be a very good year for Disney. So I'm not going to backtrack, but I've been doing some thinking. Based on how well Inside Out 2 is doing, I easily think Deadpool will smash 1 billion. Whether it gets close to No Way Home numbers, I still think that's being a way freaking over the top. I don't think it's going to come close to doing 2 billion, but I think it would easily do $1 billion just because people are interested. The pre-sales alone, the interest seems to be there. Apparently, it's on track to do at least $240 million opening weekend. I think it would have the legs. If it is as good as what I'm reading right in front of me right now. You always say stuff and you can't allude to what you say. Yeah, but it's because if I say something, I'm going to get in trouble with someone and I will lose a lot of inside information that I get told. So that is why, but maybe before the movie comes out, I will actually go over full plot leak, which is damn close to the final product. So also in the news. So in a video the other day, I said it was absolute nonsense about Doctor Strange appearing in Deadpool and Wolverine. I reached out to a bunch of people and no one's actually heard that officially, but Benedict Cumberbatch has recently come out and said that he will be filming Avengers 5 starting early next year. I'm very much looking forward to Avengers next year, which is cooking up a storm. And yeah, he officially said this. But why I find this interesting is cool. It would make sense for him to appear in Avengers 5 because of how Doctor Strange 2 ended with him going to Dark Dimension with Clea, incursions, all this stuff. But does this actually mean he's confirming he's in Deadpool and Wolverine? Because if he's in Avengers 5, that's going to take place after Deadpool and Wolverine, you would suppose. So maybe that information was true, but no one actually has come out. None of these scoopers have actually come out and said he's in it. So, of course, he's got to be a pinnacle part of the phase because of Multiverse of Madness. But this is actually hinting that maybe he does actually appear in Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, I think Doctor Strange is a really cool character. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine, but the fact that he's come out and officially said, yeah, the next Marvel movie I'm shooting is going to be Avengers 5, maybe that's him winking that potentially he is actually going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. And maybe I was actually wrong the other day when I said that was nonsense. I was just going based on what people said when I reached out to them, and no one actually said they heard anything about Doctor Strange 2 appearing, but we don't know. There is the sling ring scene, but, you know, there's been a lot of Marvel heroes in the void, and it does look like Goliath, under the control of Cassandra Nova, has killed a bunch of variants of a lot of different characters. So that doesn't necessarily mean Doctor Strange is going to make an appearance, but it would be cool if he did. But it is cool that he's going to be in Avengers 5. So also in the news, as we know, the world premiere is taking place in New York City on the 22nd. But careful with spoilers, lads and ladettes, because the movie is releasing 2 days earlier in Japan on the 24th of July. Now, I hate when they do this because certain countries, I prefer it when they do a global release on the same day, but when they release the movie earlier in certain countries and certain places, spoilers get out. As you know, we are a spoiler channel, essentially. I don't care for spoilers, but some people do. Usually in Australia, the movie comes out earlier because of the time zone difference and it's 24 hours ahead of most of the world. So, yeah, you're going to have to stay off the internet from the 22nd to the 26th, unless you want to be spoiled. But as I keep saying, lads and ladettes, there is a big chunk of this movie that has not been revealed. And also, do you actually think they've revealed any scenes from the third act yet? Because there is a massive fight between Nova and Deadpool and Wolverine, but have we really seen it? Anything? We don't know. I don't really think they've revealed that much, but they kind of have, but they kind of haven't. So that's it for today's video. We've revealed some major reveals. That is major. The fact that nothing was really off the table when it comes to what they could and couldn't include in this movie. Although some people kind of have told you for last year, that is the case. Not at all. This movie is going to be hard R, except for use of certain substances in the movie, but that's not really needed. And also, we dropped a bunch of other information about where this movie takes place 6 years after Deadpool 2, but it's not a sequel, but it's got to be if it takes place afterwards. Otherwise, that makes literally no sense. And also, Doctor Strange could be in it. He's in Avengers 5. Would make sense if he appears somewhere. I think there is going to be a bunch of surprises in this movie, but it's not my place to reveal stuff. And maybe I might drop that plot that reveals a lot of information that's not anywhere to be seen yet, but I don't want to be that guy. Maybe we could do that a week before the movie comes out, maybe. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WatchGCB, Facebook, and voice. Check us out on Twitter, WatchGG, and I'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.